Hey guys, it's the Dark One here again, coming at you with my brand new Nordic deck profile for the August 2019 ban list. And without further ado, here we go. I use 3 copies of Vanadis, pretty self-explanatory, staple. 1 copy of Goldfax for your Thor plays. I use 2 Tangrisnir instead of 3 because I did not have the space, and to add some more tech, which I believe would be good for this deck in this format. As well as I run 2 Tangyostir, 2 Alvis of the Nordic Alpha. Being that its effect is only once per turn, I decided to only run 2. 3 I think would be too bricky, just to make sure I can go ahead and pop off its effect. I run 2 Dverg of the Nordic Alpha, 2 copies of Mimir, and now for the hand traps, I run 3 Effect Vader, and just to go ahead and spice up this deck a little bit more and to give it a little bit more power for the monsters, because all these monsters are pretty much very low in attack and it's all about link climbing. Not link climbing, tuna climbing, I guess you could say, to get to the level 10s. I run 2 Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, and also for pure attack power and for its effect to just pop something off, 3 Dino Wrestler Pankotops, and for more my beast plays, because this is more of a beast variant, which I figured it actually works a lot better than you know, any of the running a bunch of the Nordic monsters. I run 3 copies of Rescue Cat, and just in case, I also run 3 copies of Rescue Ferret. Now, the reason for me running the Rescue Ferret is to basically, in case I don't have Rescue Cat in my hand and I can't get my Nordic Beasts out, the Tangrisnir and Tangyostir, what this helps me do is this actually helps me out with my tuning plays, being that I shuffle this back in my deck, and what happens is then I end up getting, where is it? I end up getting Vanadis back out with Mimir, giving me a level 6 already on the field in case of anything. That was my idea. Let me see if it works out or not, but that was basically my idea. And then the other tech that I run in here, which kind of seems a little weird, but it's basically just to go ahead and mill the deck a little bit, is I run 3 copies of a Lupine, basically just to go ahead and either get a Rescue Cat or Rescue Ferret or anything that I really would like banished, because I do run Banish Recursion, I believe it's called, which I'll show you in a minute. And then also to go with my beast plays, I run 2 Aya's Rock Sunrise, which is essentially a monster reborn but just for beasts, and it's also really good because once it's reborn that way, the beast monster gains 200 attack for each beast in my graveyard. Then I run 1 Rhoda for the Dverg, 1 1-for-1 also for the Dverg. That's basically for my Link Karibo plays. and then I run one Monster Reborn for anything pretty much. And then as far as my getting back from banishment, which is the reason why I don't mind banishing, especially because Vanadis has an effect of banishing and so does Gold Egg, is I run 2 Pot of Acquisitiveness and 2 copies of Burial from the Different Dimension. So this way I could always recur banish cards to the graveyard if I needed it for a play, or I could go ahead and recur the banish cards straight from being banished into my deck. And I also run 2 Twin Twisters, pretty standard. And just because I know this deck is kind of slow, even though I'm trying to build up the tech of this deck, I also run 2 Dark Holes, just basically wipe the field. And also because I know, regardless of what I've tried to do with this deck, it's still a little bit too slow, I also run 3 copies of Drowning Mirror Force and 2 Storming Mirror Force. Now if you notice, this is basically a big monster mashup, and I don't really run that many spells or traps really, and the reason for not running that many spells is because I run Imperial Order, which is really good against Sky Strikers. Right now this is just a test variant that I'm doing of this deck, and I've been play testing. It's got a 50-50 chance of winning, but hopefully it gets better. Now to the extra deck. I run 1 Linkaribo, and I do apologize, I'm not really used to making these type of videos, so I'm not really, as you can see, I'm not really like used to explaining. I just kind of just go with whatever's in my head, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Mostly I play for fun. Normally I'm a budget player, but as you can see, some of the more expensive cards that I do have in the deck, such as the Fantastical Dragon, that's basically just me pulling it straight out of the pack with the luck that I have. Then you cannot play a Nordic deck without 2 copies of Gelvig, starting your Link plays. And then for my Beast plays, I run 1 Firefighting Dromadol, just for board wipe, extra board wipe. Topologic Bomber Dragon for extra banishment. Topologic Trisbania. Warlord Dragon, coming straight out of the new Rocket Structure deck. My other secret rares are being used in my 2 other decks, but still works the same. And just because it's more of a beast variant, to help with my beast plays, I'm also running Diamond Dire Wolf. Then I'm running a Utopia package, Utopia and Utopia the Lightning. And then, of course, it cannot be a Nordic deck if I'm not running Odin and Thor. I do not run Loki because I think his effect is just subpar, so I just run these 2. And then, of course, for more board wipes, just because of how slow this deck can be, even with the added tech, I'll run 1 Black Rose Dragon. There's no side deck, but pretty sure if I had a side deck, I'd run my Lanciers and things of that nature. Being that, I main Dino Wrestler Pancratops, he's in my deck already. I'd run more like going second type cards, maybe infinite impermanence and everything. If I had infinite impermanence, I'm still trying to look for it. If anyone does actually have an infinite impermanence, please message me. I would not mind trading. And thank you so much for listening to my deck profile. Have a good night.